Okay, so we got a goodie. We got a goodie. Some of my favorite people on planet Earth. I want to welcome each and every one of you all to Moving at the Speed of Culture. We all know culture doesn't wait, neither do these respected people on the stage. This convo is about how people drive influence, drive fan engagement, and ultimately shape the culture. Shout out to our friends at Boardroom. They are the perfect partner to bring this conversation to life. You might see these folks courtside. You might see them in commercials. You might hear them in rap songs. You might see them in the boardroom. But one thing about them is they're all best in class. I believe Taylor Rooks is the best in the world at what she does. Nigel Sylvester is the best in the world at what he does. Leslie Berland, in my opinion, is the best marketer on the planet. So I want to start with a really high-level question. What's the last thing you all have seen in culture or in marketing that have made you say, either, damn, I wish I thought of that, or that's breakthrough? I'll start with you, Nigel.
Well, that's a good question. Jack Moose is doing some incredible things, how they're storytelling, how they're incorporating food and their content, incredible. So shout out to them.
Can you talk about yourself real quick? In MTA that just dropped 3 days ago?
Yeah, so I recently did a campaign with the MTA. There's a massive issue that's happening in New York City right now. For those of you who don't know what the MTA is, it's the Metropolitan Transportation Authority in New York City. Keeps New York running. And the issue is there's kids that are subway surfing, and it's extremely dangerous, and we want to stop that. So there's a campaign called Ride Inside, Stay Alive. And it's really focused on combating against this major issue that we see is happening right now. So
incredible.
It just launched and it's everywhere.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Am I up?
T. Rooks, what is the last thing you've seen that said, yo, I wish I thought of that, or it was just really interesting that broke through?
I think two things. So I really, really loved Bill Simmons' Celtics documentary on Max. I just think it was amazing storytelling. He did an incredible job of encapsulating just what it is to be a Celtics fan. But what I thought was great was the way that he used himself and his dad as characters to tell the story about the Celtics, because I just think it reminds everybody that at the heart of sports, it's about the fans, it's about how the teams make you feel. And it was also a really cool way to be able to work with your dad about something that has meant the world to you for most of your life. I thought it was an incredible doc. And then something tiny. Right now, I'm very into the Subway Takes IG. Do you all know what I'm talking about? It's so good. It feels like New York, and people can just get anything off their chest, and I think that's the best kind of content, where you hear new things and vulnerability from individuals. So I wish I thought of Subway Takes. It's good.
Leslie, you've thought of a lot of breakthrough marketing work. What's something that you've seen recently that has caught your eye?
You know, the inspiration that I get and that I get excited about is all user-generated stuff. I think obviously TikTok is the obsession, as you know, but the consistent memes and trends that not only catch fire but are breaking through and also then driving culture and getting brands to hop on, I think is what continues to be just incredible to watch.
Yeah, why didn't we think of TikTok?
Yeah, I don't know.
Leslie, I've been fortunate enough to have proximity to your work. You've led all types of groundbreaking campaigns, from tweets on billboards to shutting down the Super Bowl with the Beyonce album drop. I'd love to get a sense of what you think the ingredients are to breakthrough marketing, to breakthrough campaigns.
Yeah, I think to break through marketing, and when we're developing plans internally, I'm never thinking about marketing, I'm actually thinking about PR. So I'm thinking about what type of press and buzz is this going to get? And if it doesn't generate conversation, it's not interesting enough. It's not bold enough. And so I think that innately where that leads you is to do something that no one else is doing, and to look back at what every other brand did last year or is coming up and doing and saying, you know what, this is not breakthrough. It's not that, bold and not that unexpected. And so I think it's a really, really high bar. And, there are things that we decide, if we don't think it will break through the way we want it to, we just won't do it, instead of sort of doing lots of different things that we think will move the needle slightly. So yeah, we have a lot of fun with that.
I remember from working with you, there was a time I tried to put a Twitter logo on a car, and you were like, why are you slapping the logo everywhere?
Oh, right.
So to that point,
Yeah.
I want to speak to why you have leaned into differentiated forms of marketing formats, i.e. the creator economy. You've been ahead of the game with that. Why?
Yeah, I mean, TJ and I were at Twitter for many, many years,
that, yeah.
and X for a minute, some of us more minutes. But It's all good. Um, but I had to. Love you, TJ.
I was trying to chill.
Love
I was
you.
trying to chill, Leslie.
Can we change the topic
y'all
of
heard
this
that.
panel?
It wasn't me. It
New
wasn't me.
topic.
Our ex is our ex. That's correct.
What? Oof. What was the question?
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Creator economy.
Oh,
You
creator.
believe it's a
Yeah,
creator.
so we were at Twitter together.
No,
so
keep going. Keep going.
Exactly. It gets very messy. We lived absorbing and understanding and following the conversation from the moment we woke up in the morning until we went to sleep at night. And I think that what that sort of injected into our veins is this understanding of tone and culture and communities and where trends are going, but also just the rawness and messiness. And so I think for me, you look at some sort of like large scale marketing, which a lot of our brands like ours do, but you also realize and understand what's actually touching a customer. And usually that's something pretty messy and chaotic and down to earth and raw and wonderful.
One of my favorite things about what Nigel has been able to do is community. You're moving people, right? And you're doing it in ways that are completely non-traditional. You created motion before motion was even a term. So I would love for you to give us a bit of background as to how you even started on your journey, man.
It's all about the motion, right? And what I do, there's so much motion and movement to it, right? And as I started to unlock different doors and spaces and rooms through bike riding, through creativity, through content, and start to understand exactly how important community is, I realized that I need to invest into community over everything else, right? And when I think about a product or I think about content or activation or the places and the people that I'm aligning myself with, I want to make sure I'm staying true to my community, right? And even when I do like my big bike rides called Go Ride, that's really for the streets and for the people. I want to create a moment, create a space that people can have conversation, ideas can be exchanged, motion can be, formed. And that's how I look at it, right? That's how I look at a lot of things that I do.
I've been around you for the past 3 days, and the hardest thing has been to not ask you for a pair of brick by bricks. And I'm not doing that right now. But
The number one question.
I didn't ask technically, but I do want to. What does it feel like to drop one of the biggest sneakers in the year, and not to be associated with a particular team or a franchise, but to drop a sneaker for being you, Nigel Sylvester?
No, it's an incredible opportunity, right? And when I signed with Jordan Brand as the first BMX athlete ever to sign with Jordan Brand, that was on my mind, right? I was like, okay, I want to create moments. I want to storytell through product. And I felt that was the best place to do it, right? And following up on the release we did last year with Grandma's Driveway, brick by brick just felt right, and it came from a real place, right? Like the storytelling around brick by brick came from the heart. It came from my experiences, and people resonated with that, and when you think about that shoe as well, it's a tribute to New York City, first and foremost, and then the mantra brick by brick. I think we all can relate to that in one way or the other. And I feel like that connectivity was what made it super special. And then also the shoe is just really, really good.
It's a fact. Taylor, you're typically sitting in my seat, so that makes me a little happy that I can pepper you with questions. You're one of the best, in my opinion, to ever do it. You sit across broadcast, you sit across fashion, you sit across culture. I was watching a music video the other day, Jack Harlow and Doja Cat, and you happen to pop up in the music video. You're everywhere in culture, but you do it in a way that is authentically Taylor Rooks. You're not doing it if it doesn't feel like it's right for you. Can you walk us through how you navigate all these opportunities and still remain being you?
Yeah, I think that I decided when I got into this space that I wanted to always show up as a whole person. And I think that when you are in media or you're a journalist, you're a personality, there's this idea that you can only be that thing. And that didn't make me feel comfortable. I'm a human. I have so many other interests. And I think that the way that I live my life so out in the open, I go where I want, I hang out with different people, I think that it also informs the work. I think that I have become incredibly relatable to the athletes that I interview. I think about someone like Ahmad Rashad, who was able to position himself as a peer, because obviously he played, but when he transitioned to an interviewer, he broke down those walls and made it about this is who I am and this is who you am or who you are. And it encourages the athlete to be themselves a little bit more as well. And the more that you are hiding yourself, I think the more your interviews feel less authentic because you aren't fully showing up. So if there is something I see that I'm interested in and I want to do it, I do it. Because I want the people that I'm talking to feel like they know me so that it resonates within the conversation as well.
What's also interesting about it is with your seat, you've been exposed to a ton of brand opportunity. We've seen you in a Virgil Abloh piece. We've seen you with Genesis and Google. So as you think about your relationship with brands, what types of opportunities feel aligned and feel right for you? What do you say yes to?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I feel like when I think about the brands, it's like, okay, it's so many different things, but I really say no to a lot. If something doesn't feel like me, if I don't think that the other people that they partner with reflect me or look like me, or they aren't living the things that, they are preaching, I don't want to work with that brand. But if it is really cool ideas, innovative ideas, like the thing about the Virgil piece is I'm like on a motorcycle in the off-white shoes and we're going down PCH and I'm jumping off a car. Like it was something that I hadn't done, but it was so incredibly off-white. It felt like them. And I thought it was cool that they had picked me to represent what that brand looks like at the time. So I think when I'm making these decisions, I just want to understand, do they truly know culture? Do they know what's cool? Are they looking to mimic what everybody else is doing? And that's what makes the ultimate decision for me.
I'm going to dovetail something you said. You said you say no a lot. Leslie, I know from your seat, you are bombarded with all types of opportunities and ideas and concepts, probably from people at ad agencies, but maybe even at the dinner table from time to time. So how do you think about the fact that you have this really powerful brand and you dictate how your brand shows up? And how do you determine what decisions you decide to move forward with?
So first of all, what Taylor just said resonated so much because obviously you are a brand and you're a powerful brand. And so much of what a brand is defined by what you don't do and what you say no to.
That's good.
It's the majority of actually where we're spending our time because and by the way, there are great ideas and exciting ideas and cool things that are happening, but we have to stay very laser focused on what we're trying to achieve. And it's hard to do that when you're distracted by a lot that's coming your way. So it's who are we trying to reach? What's the business goal that we're trying to nail? What is the most authentic channel, brand, talent, personality, co-marketer that we can bring it to life with? But it becomes very easy when you're basically like, here's our object, like here's our goal, and this is where it may or may not fit in.
And going off that, sorry, TJ, someone once said to me, Taylor, you can do anything, but you can't do everything. And that always sticks with me because there is something to being choosy. There is something to keeping an air of exclusivity about the decisions that you make because that makes the ones that you do make a lot bigger. And they mean a lot more. And I see people make the mistake of believing that if you can see me everywhere, that means I'm progressing.
Oof.
You're really just taking up space, So you want to make the moments that they do see you really intentional. Like, I feel like sometimes I'm like, okay, dang, you go on NBA, I'm right there. You go on NFL, I'm right there. But I don't want people to feel sick about seeing me. I want those moments to mean something.
How do you do that?
Well, so I think the key probably to marketing, whether it's a company or a person, you want people to know what to expect from you, but still be surprised. So I think that if you are looking at my interviews or something, you know that it's going to be about them as a human being. We're going to get introspective. I'll ask different questions. So that's the thing that you expect. But how can it always be revelatory? What can surprise you? And so that's always what I try to think about.
Was that a mid-panel wave? Is that what you
said? Yeah. What
so
up,
good.
Dwayne?
Okay, a mid-panel wave.
Mid-panel wave is crazy.
I've never seen a mid-panel wave in my entire life. Nigel.
She's so good.
You got to when you walk through.
I'm taking notes right now. I'm learning. Like,
and didn't
this is
stop
amazing.
the sentence.
Not
Didn't
at
stop
all.
the sentence.
It was
Nigel,
fluid.
similarly, right? Your approach was so many opportunities, bro, and you've leaned in to spaces and platforms that are authentically you. Can you elaborate on the points that they just made?
Man, for sure, I agree with both of what the lady said, and I think it comes down to the power of no. right? There's so much power in saying no, being choosy, being selective. And for me, I've done that my entire career, and I think that I contribute my longevity to saying no, and making sure that when I'm investing my time and energy into something or a partnership or opportunity, that it's gonna come across in an authentic way, and I always reference the 3 I's, right? Inform, inspire, and impact. And I feel like if the things that I'm doing checks off those 3 boxes, then I'm in a good space.
That's incredible, man. I want to step away from the nose and talk about something really specific with you. I'm a mama's boy. I love my mother. And
Same. Shout out to Miss Sylvester.
Yo, speaking of Miss Sylvester,
Right.
Nigel did a campaign with David Yerman and on Mother's
Beautiful.
Day, and you
Yes.
pulled your mother into the campaign, bro. It's so
100%.
amazing. Tell the people about Mama real quick.
No, my mom's my everything, right? Like, she's where I've learned strength from, dedication, sacrifice, hard work, all of the things that you see me exhibit throughout my career on and off the bicycle. I've watched her move mountains, and there were times where I'll be in Queens at Montebello Park, which is a park I grew up riding at, and I'm trying this trick. I'm just like, man, I can't stop trying this trick till I land it, because I know my mom is out working super hard to take care of us. And that's what held me accountable for so many years, and it still does, right? Like, I can't take this opportunity and give 80% or 90% knowing that my mom is out there giving 110%. So shout out to her. She's inspired me so much. She's had so much impact on me.
Yeah, that's
I
incredible.
know she's in Queens right now holding it down. So, hey, make sure you get a video to let mama know what's going on over here.
So for you brands and CMOs in the building, I hope y'all
Right.
listen to that. I do want to ask one more question about that. Did they approach you with that opportunity? Did you pitch it to them? How did that come about?
With David Yerman?
Yeah.
Right, so they had an opportunity that was came to me for, it was F1. They were doing an event at F1, and that first moment went so well, and I was like, listen, which they approached me with that opportunity. And I said, listen, like, Mother's Day is coming up. My mom is everything to me. I would love to do something with you guys in relationships to my mom. And they agreed to it, hired my team to shoot the content, and it came out incredible, man.
I want to talk about just the content landscape really quickly. Leslie, you mentioned TikTok. I think part of the challenge is that creators and brands face is identifying which channels to leverage, how many resources invest in the channels.
Yeah.
Taylor, do I post it to TikTok? Do I post it to Instagram? I'm curious from a marketer's perspective, how do you identify the opportunity to lean forward to a property that might be moving at the speed of culture?
Yeah, so I mean, every property is different. Every channel has its own thing, its own personality, its own way of sort of functioning and living and breathing. I think it always starts with going where the audience is that you're trying to reach, right? There are some audiences that we have, they're on TikTok, and there are some that are still watching linear television and everything in between. And I think what we've been trying to do, what matters to us is, to your point, moving at the speed of culture and being relevant even if it's a TV commercial. And so we've really been proud on some of the work that we've done. We actually just did work with Pete Davidson just as he was like talking about his tattoos and his new life and moving really quickly to have him do TV, but in a very fast, raw, authentic way that was like very self-aware and very real. So we look at these channels much more fluidly. We actually put Caleb Presley on TV a couple of months ago. He did amazing social for us on IG, and we put it on TV as well. So I see them much more fluidly now than I ever did before. But again, it all comes down to the audiences, the demos, the age ranges, and they all work, obviously, together.
Taylor, we talk about the internet being kind of a weird place from time to time. And with artificial intelligence, it's added an additional layer of weirdness is the only term I could think of. As a person who relies on these channels for distribution, how do you even go about approaching that?
The AI of it all?
Yeah,
or-
AI, do I do it to TikTok? Do I do it to Twitter? How do you think about just content and how you show up on social on a day-to-day basis?
It's so interesting. I was just having this conversation because just as I've gotten older, my relationship with social media has changed. I used to be on X all the time, posting and all the things. I maybe put out my own tweet once a week or so, and it's normally just what my content is. I tend to lean a little bit more towards Instagram, but I'm also getting a little bit more creative. Like next month, I'm going to start a newsletter on Substack. And I want that to be, to Nigel's point about building community, I want that to be where I can go to actually engage with people, speak to them, create ideas together, discuss perspectives, because I think right now that just isn't what social media has turned into. Some pockets, yes, but how can I actually impact the conversation and be additive? And newsletters are something that I have loved my entire life, so being able to put my thoughts down and also, like I said, have that interaction. That's how I'm thinking about it. But I also live in reality. I know that it's important to use X, use Instagram, use TikTok and all those things, but at what point does it become inauthentic to you? So I want to always keep what makes me feel good, because there's something else I would say. At the end of the day, you should not be ever influenced about what people want from you. Because wherever you are in your life, you're there because of the expectations that you had for yourself. And I think that sometimes when you keep reaching success, everyone else's expectations seep into what you do. But that's the exact opposite of how you even got the success. So something that has always led me is like, what makes me feel good? And I want that to be the guide forever.
Nigel, similarly, you were tasked with breaking through, and you do a damn good job at that. How do you think about these tools, these platforms, these channels to assist you in doing just that?
Yeah, you got to do what works for you, right? Like, not every social app I feel you need to be present on in that way. You have to, like, based off what your content is, the story you're trying to tell, the community you're trying to garner, like, there's an app for it. So you have to figure out what makes sense for you, you know? And that's how I look at it, right? It's like I'm more present on Instagram and YouTube, right? Because usually it's a video of me riding my bike or telling some type of story, and I feel like that platform, like those platforms, best is suited for me.
And I would use this as an opportunity to say shout out to a platform like the Boardroom, who does
100%.
lean into culture, authenticity, and does it in a way that feels right and feels palatable. So shout out to you all. We're talking about the speed of culture. One of the things that I think brands really struggle from is identifying the difference between what's trendy and what's actually resonant. So Leslie, I'll go to you on this. You've helped brands navigate multiple campaigns and all types of tough decisions. How do you determine what is beneficial from that's just trendy versus something that's actually resonant?
Yeah, I think so. For all marketers everywhere, the only way to be able to understand trends and what it will or will not be is to be obsessively on these platforms. It's like you're signing your life away to some extent, but you have to do it. You can't sit in an office somewhere and think about what's potentially happening on TikTok or what is or is not cool. I think for me, we have a little bit of a higher bar because when I see tons of brands jumping onto a trend, I don't want to be there, or I don't want to be there in that way, because the line between cool and cringe in those moments is like very thin. It's like paper razor thin. So you've got to be in it. You've got to have partners that are in it, agencies that are in it, teams that like live and breathe and also love it. You have to love sort of following and being in on what's happening and what's not happening. And so that's truly the only way. And I think, again, understanding your community, understanding your audience, and research now with the rise of AI, it is unbelievable what we know about the people that we're trying to talk to and trying to reach. So we actually know what is resonating with them and what is not.
Okay, we're running out of time. I do want to do a bit of rapid fire. I hope you guys did not see any of these. I'm going to start with you, Nigel. A close friend needs to get a hold of Nigel Sylvester ASAP. Is the best way to do so via text, DM, or email?
A close friend?
That's a funny question. Yes, a close friend.
You got to text me.
Taylor?
You know the answer is call me, which isn't even an option. You better call. I'll answer, but you better call.
Leslie?
Text or voice note, as you know.
A
Voice note.
Voice note.
We love a
are the
voice
way.
note.
Yeah, love.
Okay, aside from Verizon, you think about the brand marketing ecosystem. What's a brand that you have yet to partner with that you'd be interested in to collab with? Outside of Verizon.
I've been talking about this like all week. Outside of Verizon?
Yeah.
What if Verizon is the one though? Like what? Like 5G and all that, you know? Okay.
Oh, sorry. What was your answer?
Verizon.
It
You
sounds
too?
Oh, it was Verizon. Okay.
Verizon.
Well, yes, Verizon. You know, I've had Verizon since about 2007. No, I would say Delta. Yeah, Delta Airlines.
I wonder if Alicia's here. Okay, noted.
That's a
Noted.
connection.
We know a girl. All the brands we want to work with, we're actually talking to right now.
Ooh, that's
so
a
I'm
big
gonna
flex.
pass. I'm gonna pass on this one.
Okay. One of my favorite cultural social trends right now are grown men calling each other and telling them good night, sleep tight is one of my favorite things that I've seen on the internet. For a homie to call you and say sleep tight is crazy. Nigel, what is a trend that you've seen on the internet or in the ecosystem that you thought is pretty cool?
That's a good one. Funny.
Funny, cool, interesting.
I feel like when people are in like a Walmart or a Target and they're doing something weird or scaring someone, like I usually spend time going down those like rabbit holes and laughing about that.
Taylor?
I honestly do not know why I find this so funny, but those videos where they say, like, you know, I'm so hungry, I can eat, and then, like, it's someone's name.
From Facebook from, like, 1999.
I'm like, obviously this person is, like, I don't know, it's just funny everyone falls for it. So I would say that.
That was mine, but I will go back one chapter that still stays with me. The Roman Empire. Like men thinking about the Roman Empire often. Do you guys?
No.
You do not?
No.
Men? Somebody help? Nobody?
There's a couple.
There's like one dude in the back. So okay. Daily, possibly. But it's a really funny trend about random dudes who just are like, yeah, I think about the Roman Empire every single day of my life. Strange.
So we're in front of a bunch of incredible marketers, brand leaders, executives, influencers, creators. If you could leave each and every person in this room with a thought, a theme, a piece of advice as to how to move at the speed of culture, how would you go about doing that?
Am I first?
Yeah, it sucks. You're right beside me. Actually, we'll go with Leslie. We'll start with Leslie.
I'll stay in theme on the conversation. It's just be your authentic self.
Yeah.
Be self-aware. Like we talked about saying no. You can only say no, it's not for me when you know who you are. And that's true as humans as well as brands, and that's a journey we're all on. So know who you are.
I love that. Taylor?
I was also going to say know who you are. I think going off that too, it's knowing who you're not. And I think that a lot of the times when we're thinking about impact that we want to make, projects that we want to take on, you have this idea, you know, of who you are and what you like, but it's equally as important to know where your line is and the things that don't feel good to you and what feels right. So I would say knowing who you're not is equally as important.
Yes, know who you are and who you're not. That's good.
Yeah.
Man, I feel like we live in a day and age where we're inundated with so much.
That's right.
So much going on, right? A lot of it's not good. So to all the marketers and brands out there, invest into innovation, right? Like, do that thing that other people aren't thinking about doing. Show up in a real way, right? And not just like, oh, throw some money over here, whatever. Like, actually, like, find those creators, find those athletes, find those people who are moving culture and invest into them. Like, help develop their platforms, because those are the ones that are starting the new trends that people are looking after. People want to be where they are. I think that's very important. It's innovation.
I just
True
want to say,
innovation.
going off that, because I agree, and since we were on the boardroom panel, Boardroom is starting a members club, and that is the entire point of the club, is to connect like-minded individuals. How can we progress your careers, your dreams, the things that you want to accomplish, have one-on-ones with CEOs, with marketers, with talent, to really tap into your community and yourself. So if you have any interest in that, the members club, New York, LA, talk to me, we'll get you in.
Taylor Rooks, you're good. Everybody on this panel is good. Round of applause for this esteemed group of panelists. Yes. Stay hydrated. Don't drink too much rosé. Take a break around 6 to 7, reset, and then enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you.
Thank you.
TJ.
Thank you so much.